Most people bet Wimbledon like they're watching tennis at a bar. They see a big name, they see grass court, they see favorite, and then they fire. That's not a strategy. That's a donation because Wimbledon is not like every other tennis tournament. Grass changes everything. The serves matter more, the returns matter more, break points matter more, tie breaks matter more. And if you're betting Wimbledon the same way you bet a random hardcore tournament in February, you're already behind. So today I'm going to show you the exact Wimbledon strategy I use to find higher probability spots. Now, it's not guaranteed and it's not magic. But when these filters line up, you can find spots that profile around 88% based on the setup. And the best part, most casual bettors are not even looking at this. So today we're going to jump into Wimbledon, specifically how to find better betting spots using a grass court filter. Now, before we get into this, let me say this clearly. An 88% strategy does not mean you're going to win every single bet. It means we're looking for a specific profile where the data, matchup, surface, and betting market are all pointing in the same direction. That's the difference between betting a name and betting a setup. Because at Wimbledon, a player can be ranked higher and still be a bad bet. A player can be famous but still be overpriced. A player can have a better overall record and still be vulnerable on grass. That's why you cannot just look at rankings. You have to look at how their game translates to Wimbledon. Now, rankings lie at Wimbledon because grass exposes everything. The first thing you have to understand is this. Wimbledon is played on grass. And grass is the most slickest, most unforgiving surface in tennis. The ball stays lower, points are shorter, big servers get rewarded, weak returners get punished. Players who need long rallies sometimes struggle, and one bad service game could decide a whole set. Now, it's way different than clay. On clay, players have more time to recover. They can grind, they can defend, they can work their way back into points. But on grass, it goes ace, unreturned serve, serve plus one, quick hold, tie break, set, gone. Just like that. That's why Wimbledon betting is different. You're not betting who is better. You're betting whose game is built for grass. At Wimbledon, the better player does not always win. The better grass player does. Now, here's the strategy. I'm looking for matches where one player checks multiple boxes. Not one box, not two boxes, multiple boxes. The Wimbledon filter looks like this. The player has a strong grass court win rate. They hold serve at a high percentage on grass. They have a clear ace or first serve advantage. They have a better recent form. They have a positive head-to-head or matchup edge. And the opponent struggles on grass, struggles returning serve, or has poor breakpoint conversion. When all that lines up, that's when the matchup becomes interesting. That's when we can say, okay, this is not just a pick. This is a profile. And that's the whole game. The first thing I'm checking is grass court win rate, not overall record, not career ranking, not what they did on clay 2 months ago. Grass court win rate, because tennis surfaces matter. A player can be great on hard courts and an average on grass. A player can dominate clay and look completely uncomfortable in Wimbledon. So if I'm looking for a favorite, I want to see that they actually have wins on grass. Ideally, I want the player to have a strong grass record over the last few seasons, or at minimum, strong results in the current grass season leading into Wimbledon. And for the opponent, I'm looking for the exact opposite. Do they struggle on grass? Do they lose early at Wimbledon? Do they get broken too often? Do they have trouble with low bouncing balls? Because that matters, because the public loves betting names, but the public can sometimes miss surface-specific weaknesses. A tennis ranking tells who is better overall. Grass stats tell who's better today. Now, this might be the most important part of the entire strategy, hold percentage. At Wimbledon, holding serve is everything. If a player is holding serve at an elite rate on grass, they are hard to beat. Because even if the match gets tight, they're not always giving free breaks. They're forcing tie breaks. They're putting pressure on the opponent every single service game. For favorites, I want the stronger player to have a clear hold rate advantage. For unders, hold percentage can also tell you whether the match is likely to stay tight or whether one player can separate. The main idea is simple. If you could hold serve on grass, you are dangerous. If you can't hold serve at Wimbledon, you're basically walking into a knife fight with a pool noodle. All right, let's get on to the next filter here. First serve percentage and first serve points won. This is huge. On grass, the first serve is a weapon, not just because of aces, because it sets up the entire point. A strong first serve creates short balls. It creates easy forehands. It creates serve plus one opportunities. And it keeps the returner under pressure. So I'm looking for a player who wins more points behind their first serve. If one player wins 78% of first serve points on grass and the opponent wins 68%, that gap matters. That could be the difference between winning 7-6 and losing 6-7. At Wimbledon, one bad first serve game can cost you the entire match. Now here's where casual bettors actually mess up. They only look at serve. And yes, serve matters a lot at Wimbledon, but return matters too. Because if both players are holding serve, the question becomes, who can actually create break chances? Who can pressure second serves? Who can win points when the first serve misses? Who has better return numbers on grass? This is where you can separate real contenders from serve-only players. A big server can look dominant until they face someone who gets enough balls back and forces them to play actual tennis. So I want to know, can this player break serve on grass? Can they return big serves? Can they punish weak second serves? Because if they can hold and return, now we have a dangerous Wimbledon profile. A big serve wins games. A big serve plus a real return game wins matches. This is another underrated Wimbledon stat. Break points. On grass, break chances are limited. You might only get 2 or 3 real chances in a set. So if a player is terrible on break points, that matters. And if a player constantly saves break points with a huge serve, that matters too. This is why I look at pressure stats on who performs better in tie breaks, who saves more break points, who converts when they get a chance, who gets tight, because Wimbledon matches can turn into pressure cookers. One break point, one double fault, one missed return, one bad challenge, sets over. That's the sport. So when I find a player with better serve numbers, better grass history, and better pressure stats, that is a serious edge. Wimbledon is not about who plays better for 3 hours. Sometimes it's about who handles 3 points better. Now let's talk about head to head. I do care about head to head, but only when it makes sense. If one player is 4-0 against another player, I want to know why. Is it a style problem? Does one player struggle with pace? Does one struggle with a slice? Does one hate low balls? Does one return poorly against big servers? Does one get bullied on a second serve? Because head to head by itself can lie. Maybe all 4 matchups were on clay. Maybe they happened 5 years ago. Maybe one player was injured. So I don't blindly bet head to head. I use it first as a clue. But if the head to head does not match today's surface or current form, then I'm careful. Head to head is not the answer. It's a clue. Now let me save you some money here. Do not blindly bet Wimbledon favorites. This tournament is full of favorite traps. A famous player comes in, everybody knows the name, the odds are short, the public piles in, but then you look deeper. They have not played much on grass. Their hold rate is not dominant. Their return numbers are weak. They rely on long rallies. They struggle against big servers. And suddenly that minus 250 favorite looks a lot uglier. This is why price matters. A great player can still be a terrible bet if the number is too expensive. You do not win long term by betting names. You win by betting value. A great player could still be a bad bet if the price is trash. Now here's where Wimbledon can get fun. Underdogs with big serves can be dangerous on grass because they do not need to dominate the whole entire match. They just need to hold serve, force pressure, and steal a tiebreak. That's why big underdogs at Wimbledon can be live if they have the right profile. Strong serve, high ace rate, low break percentage allowed, good grass history, opponents with weak return. That does not always mean money line. Sometimes it means game spread. Sometimes it means over games. Sometimes it means player to win a set. The market might say one player is clearly better, but grass can shrink that gap. Grass makes dangerous underdogs even more dangerous. One of my favorite Wimbledon angles is the over game setup. Here's what I'm looking for. Two strong servers, both players hold a high rate, neither player breaks often, both have tie break history, the match total is not inflated too high, and both players are comfortable on grass. That kind of matchup can be perfect over games because even if one player wins in straight sets, you could still get something like 7-6, 7-5, 6-4. That can cash an over without needing 5 sets. The mistake people make is thinking overs only hit in long matches. Not always. At Wimbledon, tight sets can get you there fast. You do not always need 5 sets for a Wimbledon over. You need tight service games. Now let's talk about unders. I'm looking for a different profile here. One player has a major serve and return advantage. The opponent gets broken too often. The favorite has strong grass form. The underdog struggles holding serve, and the matchup points toward one-way pressure. That is where an under can make sense, because if the favorite can break early and avoid tie breaks, the match can move fast, something like 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. That's an under profile, but I'm careful with unders at Wimbledon because tie breaks can ruin you. If both players serve well, I usually do not want the under. I need a clear mismatch. At Wimbledon, unders need separation, overs need serve pressure. Now, this is how I would use the Linemaker AI, not to ask who's going to win Wimbledon, because that's lazy, okay? I would ask it something specific. Find Wimbledon matches where one player has a stronger grass court win rate, better hold percentage, better first serve point, better return numbers, and a clear matchup edge. Flag any matches where the market price may be too expensive or where the underdog has a big serve profile that could force tie breaks. That is how you use the AI the right way. You give it the exact betting profile. You make it screen the board, you make it compare the data, then you decide if the price is worth betting. AI is not there to magically remove losing bets. It's there to help you research faster and stop guessing. So stop asking AI for a lock. Ask AI to find the exact setup. Now, once again, let's go through the full checklist for the 88% win rate at Wimbledon. For a strong favorite profile, I want better grass court win rate, better hold percentage, better first serve points won, better return numbers, better breakpoint performance, better recent form, clear matchup advantage, and a price that is not already destroyed. For an underdog profile, I want big serve, high ace rate, strong hold percentage, tie-break upside, opponent with weak return numbers, and a price that gives me value. For over games, I want two strong servers, limited break chances, tie-break history, grass-friendly profiles, and a total that is still reasonable. Now, for under games, I want one clear superior player, a weak server on the other side, a return mismatch, low tie-break risk, and a path to straight set domination. That's the system. It's not about betting every Wimbledon match. It's about waiting until the profile is obvious. Because sometimes the best Wimbledon strategy is not picking more matches. It's eliminating bad ones. So if you guys want a free trial for the Linemaker AI to exactly see how you can find these matchups where you're going to be able to win at least 88%, and you don't have to do any hard work, The AI will literally just spit it out for you as long as you put the profile in there. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to start your free trial. So that way you could use it for Wimbledon and start actually winning and stop guessing. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.